Hey, howdy folks. Just had a pretty sick build using the aspect of Gilgamesh clause, and I just wanted to do a quick little review of it. Apparently missed 6 months of people playing an absolutely incredible game that I love. Just because it was early access and I've been burned by that too many times. I try to stay away from it. So on the screen right now, you guys are seeing what I ended up with. So let's kick this off here. So this is just I paused at the beginning of, like, I was halfway through this room, and I was like, this is what, room maybe 2 or 3, and I was just blown away at how much better this felt after using basically exclusively using the magnetic cutter. I think that this is where I take Colossus Knuckle. In here, Concentrated Knuckle just kind of felt, I dash around too much. I'm a little too spazzy when I'm playing for trying to get 5 hits on a single mob, and then just like damage against armor, it is really good because armor is incredibly obnoxious, but I just didn't feel like going deep in that route, and you know, when you're playing the fists, just the armor, sturdiness, defense just is incredible. You know, Athena's dash is night and day with fists. So I'm still trying to get a feel for the aspect of Gilgamesh here. You can see that I don't really. So first of all, I'm not really respecting the damage boost that the mobs get when I hit them with my special. That is. I think I get better at that later, but that's something that I didn't really respect early on, and I took much more damage than I expected in the first handful of rooms here. Here I'm thinking about, like, so my main thing when I'm looking for damage, when I'm putting together a build, at least right now with my experience level, is how do I stack 2 debuffs on a monster? How do I get that that break that gives you that 60% damage from the mirror buff? So I think the maim counts against it right now, which is absolutely incredible. It's kind of like a worse Doom, honestly. It just takes so long to activate. I'm also not sure if you remaim, if that stops it from dropping off. The damage is already feeling really good though. It's funny, like, I only have level 2 on the fists here, on the Gilgamesh, and I've been using magnetic cutter like exclusively, as I said earlier, and man, just like not pulling the mobs into you is actually really good. And the armor, or rather the like stun that the whole game feels. Like, it has that, like, you know, it like chunks down to like 10 FPS. It's like chunk when you do your special, and it pulls the mobs in when you're doing the magnetic cutter. It's cool, but I don't feel like you're getting too much advantage from that. And the disadvantage is, like, you know, you're fighting chariots, and it feels terrible. You pull them in, and especially the little explodey guys. I think I took Thunder Dash here. Yep, that was just choose the best of two crappy options. As you can see, I took a crap load of damage already for no good reason. Definitely not respecting the different playstyle between this and what I'm used to. This is also my first time getting the Zeus dash, and I'm really, really liking it, especially with the man, I'm gonna have to learn the names of these things. I'll put it up on the screen, and maybe I'll add another voiceover later. But the blue shields for the heat buff, I'm running 8 heat here, as you can see. So it's like, it's not even close to high heat, but you know, it's not a total walk in the park. You can see I got 2 points into the blue shield. I think I'm doing 9 minutes per run. Maybe I'll press select at some point. You can see which other, or I have it at the end of the screen. I'll just cut this out, and I will put it on the screen later. So we're still just going through these regular rooms, taking damage that we should not be taking. Feels bad, man. Starting to get the feel. I can tell that I'm getting the feel for the fists a little bit. It is really interesting how they, and I think it's totally fine. You just got to get used to it. They mess with the dash input buffering for even alternate aspects on the same weapon. And especially Gilgamesh, that has 4 dashes by default that are like super snappy. They're clearly, clearly the timing is a little bit different between this and the magnetic cutter version that I use. So we're just ripping through this room. That was actually really fast, starting to get a feel for the damage. I think the kind of a defining characteristic of using the Gilgamesh fists is, since the monsters get a damage boost, you absolutely want to get behind them so you can take advantage of your damage boost and you don't take extra damage that you don't need to. They clearly kind of are trying to, it's the point of it, right? Like that with an aspect, they're trying to push an alternate play style onto you with, give like a fresh coat of paint on a weapon that you're used to. And I think it's even more clear with certain of them, like the Guan Yu. Man, that Guan Yu buff, I love the concept of it, but it takes like a solid 2 seconds to charge up your heal, which is like the whole advantage of why you take that disadvantage of losing all your hit points, and it takes way too long. The damage isn't there. It felt terrible. I watched Halien's video on it too, and after I played it a number of times, and it just doesn't feel. So I've seen Halien actually has Boldy as a summon. Like I just got my first summon like a day or two ago. I'm very, very new to this game, but I was like, maybe I talk to Boldy. I don't know. Can I gift Boldy? Maybe later. Here I was thinking I definitely just take the call. Athena's call is way too good for just like smoothing out the defense in a run and shoring up any shoring up any like severe shortcomings that you might have. Getting defense from other boons. Hermes is really nice. I think I get 1 or 2 Hermes later, but there isn't a ton of Hermes that can really help this build besides just like attack and special speed, and that's all I really want. Because that is the downside, especially of Gilgamesh here, is it's just a little bit slower. So I've only fought the multiple Furies like twice also at this point. However, I think they did a really good job of introducing you to each one, fighting each one individually, 5 to 10 times, and then starting to combine them and getting and being able to recognize how their mechanics interact with each other. I've said this in a couple other recordings, but I really think the Fury Sisters are probably my favorite design boss fight in the game, with Theseus and the Minotaur just a little bit behind. I think that's also a really good boss fight. Here, when you can defeat a boss, when you feel like you know it and you can defeat it very comfortably, only getting hit 0 to 2 times, that's how you know that's a good fight. That's like my defining characteristic of like not a total BS fight. So the witches are a little extra dangerous here. I take damage that I am not used to. Most of my runs at this point, I usually, just for a comfort, I get, and it's absolutely a band-aid or a crutch, I get an Athena dash or the Athena call for just like being able to dash through these stupid purple projectiles or the Medusa rocks, and it just makes everything easy and comfortable. And yeah, I almost feel like Athena's defense is too strong. I mean, it's just good to have something like that in the game, entirely defensive oriented. But it's like it really negates a lot of the
Off we go.
of the gameplay, right? You dash into things and it makes you do even more damage, especially if you boost it. It's weird, like coming from, you know, playing so many competitive video games. I just I'm thinking in terms of balance, but that's just like that's a kind of a bad wrong instinct. And like the cool thing about a single player game, especially a roguelike where, you know, your power level goes up over time, it's totally okay to have these things that are in a multiplayer game absolutely broken. You know, Athena's defense is it's just so darn good that if you want to win every single run, you just take her dash, and it negates half of the scary things in the game.
Yes.
Her call is arguably almost as good, although, you know, Zeus's is pretty incredible. You know, the crit arrow one is also very good. I hate Poseidon's. I just haven't been able to figure out. I feel like it needs to hit more to use the Styx price, or the Charon price. I imagine I take Jolted here. Yep. I just love stacking debuffs, as I said earlier. So I look at, when I see 2 boons there, I'm just looking at it from straight up the economic perspective. Each boon's worth 150 gold, and it's like, how much gold am I sitting on right now? Looks like 312. So I couldn't even, like, you know, best case you get 1 boon at Charon's shop. So unless you need health, I think just like the opportunity cost is too much by not taking the double boons. I think it's just more interesting because you'll just see it's just more combos, more crazy stuff, more fun. I think the only time I wouldn't take this versus something else would be if I like have a very specific boon that I'm going for, or I have low health and I need to go to the shop. My performance here is okay. I do find the Poseidon splashes a bit difficult to see in certain areas. Not here. Let's see, what do I take? Probably Razor Shoals, because that's the debuff. Yep. Yeah, I can. That's. I can remember what Past Me did, or I don't remember, but I can use the same logic to re-remember. Oh, I'm getting like retro embarrassment here. If I remember correctly, I did very poorly on this fight. So I like I was saying earlier, I rely so much on Athena's dash, and it's like I've kind of not learned some fights, like the right way to do some fights, because I'm used to just like dashing into the rocks here, punch the head a couple times. And I think I just get a little sloppy here, and I get stunned a couple times. I might even, yep. Like I remember like shaking my fist when that happened. That was just really sloppy. But yeah, that's just, and so I'm like kind of purposely in my current stage of runs not grabbing Athena dash, because it's a crutch that's kind of stilted my progress, my learning of the mechanics of the game. I don't remember if I was saying earlier. I don't think I was. One thing that would be kind of cool is when they have the blue shields, I would like to know if they have armor underneath, because I can't tell if I'm going to be stunning them as soon as I knock off the blue shield. And that's a calculation that I would just like to have that information, because like when I go in, I don't know how I can approach the fight. Like if they have armor, if I know a mob has armor, I approach it very differently than if it doesn't. Like I immediately try to dash behind them and play more defensively because I know I won't be stunning them. Yup, I'm going to chaos. It's too fun.
Hit me. In the name of Hades.
Probably halting ambush. That's what I would take right now. Yep. It's just, I mean, especially, as I said before, with the, you know, the fist from behind. Yeah, that's the, ideally if I'm playing well, that's what I'm doing anyway. So, I should be able to get the advantage of that boon. I'm really thinking about, I did take it anyway. Yep, I think I grabbed this. I grabbed the Curse of Pain. Come on, do it. Do it. You're thinking? Nope, Curse of Pain, come on. Oh no! So why did I not take Curse of Pain? I think I didn't take it. So A of all, it kind of sucks. Like, you know, if you're not really stacking the you know, if you don't get that buff that lets you stack the Doom multiple times, it's so little extra damage. And I think I wanted to leave that slot open for a different boon. I don't remember which one I was thinking of, but probably a Zeus boon, most likely. But I would even take a Demeter or especially, man, I keep forgetting the hunter's name. I keep getting the, the heck's her name? Alright, Google. Goddess of the Hunt. What's her name? Artemis. The problem is I learned the Roman gods. Like I think in school we referred to them by the Roman god names a lot more, and it just totally messed with my head. So the Lerny fight, I haven't fought the super powered up one, you know. So there's a couple mechanics like him being over more lava, you know, having a detached head. I've seen Halium's versions of that fight, but it still doesn't look that much more dynamic. It feels really, I mean, it is what it is, right? It is a more static fight. It feels much less interesting than the Furies. It's like comfortable when you see Lerny, but it's kind of disappointing compared to I just really enjoy the other boss fights so much more. Asterius. Never knew that was pronounced Blackguard. I've seen Blackguard in books and all sorts of media written down in RPGs, but never heard anyone say it. But I've heard the word Blackguard. I just didn't put two and two together there. So that was a good little educational experience. My vocabulary is 50% just words from RPGs, talking about tunics and stilettos. Everything I know about games is from Morrowind, or everything I know about English is from Morrowind and Baldur's Gate. Yeah, so when I start critting him, and when I get the maim debuff on him, I start critting, it's chonky. I've only done this one run of the Gilgamesh so far, but I think at this boss fight is when I'm just like, okay, I'm feeling it. And notice I just totally forget Meg exists still. I'm just not used to it. I got stuck in those urns there.
That was my friend. You and me, kid.
Yep, so like I was saying earlier, I think this is just such a cool fight. Like, it gets a little messy when Theseus gets the god powers, but I really like the main phase, the first phase. This really depends on which god powers he gets. I think this is Demeter. Yeah, it is, because it's chilling. Most of hers are fine. This one, I think her, like, the chilly in the area one on the right side there, I think that one is kind of BS. Because if you're standing in the middle of where it starts casting and you don't have any dashes, it can really screw you up. What's up, little shade? I love that guy so much. It's like top 3 best things in the whole game. God, those little emotes when they smile and they give you like the Poggers face. Absolutely kills me. I need to, for the videos, I need to get all those faces and use those for different things. The Poggers face when you talk to the shop owner kills me every time.
Provided he was flesh and blood at some point, then he resides within my realm. Presumably within... Darkness. Darkness.
I think I'm trying to play this, Nah. Oh, I actually did dodge that. I'm trying to actually figure out a...
I trust you're having a most
Like,
pleasant...
I've played builds that you can just instant phase Hades, and it's...
And such a shame.
Or I've relied on the Athena dash way too much, and not really... Like, I know all of his moves, generally, but I don't know, like, you know, sometimes is he going to double sword spin? Is he going to throw 2 or 3 skulls? You know, when is he going to summon the ads? I don't really have a strong muscle memory for it, so I'm trying to like hang back a little bit, let him do his moves, like actually learn them, because when I start getting into, you know, 20, 30, 40 plus heat, I need to know. I need to like be on top of the ball for all the telegraphed moves. So that's why you see me going a little bit slower here, and just kind of like walking around him, watching what he's doing, get a couple punches. It's like there, I got surprised that he threw a skull there. I thought I would have had enough time to get a punch in. Like here, I assume, like, that's like kind of the same thing, right? Like, he did his little dash attack. I had time to double dash at him, punch him like 2 or 3 times, and then get out. But the previous time, he threw a skull like immediately at me. And just like knowing when he's gonna do each one and like getting the feel for it. That's something I'm still working on.
Come on.
Behold.
Kind of getting a little YOLO here. Probably pop Athena, call. I tend to get a little impatient at times. Just want to go to DPS phase.
So, and this is, you know, the perfect example of how the Athena call / the Athena dash lets you just get around game mechanics. I'm just being a little impatient here and saying let's do this.
Go home.
So you can see, like, when I have the MAME on them and I get a couple crits in the back, it is really good DPS. I guess it kind of relies on everything lining up, though. So yeah, here I just go all in. Yeah, like, very quick, like 1,000 damage there. I saw like two 250 300s. And there we go. But anyway, yeah, thanks for watching. You know, if you want to see more stuff like this, or check out my, you know, my long form, I don't know how long they're gonna be, but like my video essays on like the game industry and gaming in general and game design and everything from I think a pretty unique perspective. You know, subscribe and come check out my other videos. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch y'all later.